Hello, everyone. Welcome to this 1 month long campaign of cybercrime awareness, celebrating National and International Cyber Awareness Month in India by Cyber Jagrithi Foundation. Today, we are here at Cyber Vakeel, an online awareness campaign launched by Cyber Jagrithi Foundation, covering a multitude of themes on cyber crimes and an aim to create awareness on cyber laws in India. The campaign is splitted around numerous topics of discussion related to subject of cybercrimes and cyber laws. We have scheduled the entire mass of knowledge on cybercrimes and cyber laws into several wedges so that it's easily communicable and help you to lay hold of cyber awareness. The main motto is not only to educate but also spread a word about these trending cyber misleads which are happening in the society. With the use of technology these days, knowingly or unknowingly, everyone is a trap of the internet. Let's take this wise and safe use of cyber networks without being a victim of it. Our NGO, Cyber Jagrithi, has taken up this initiative on the occasion of Cyber Awareness Month, a 30 days cyber awareness campaign specially designed for legal professionals, including advocates, law professors, research scholars, budding lawyers, and students from various backgrounds in the curriculum to give them an insight in the field of cyber crimes, and it can be efficiently dealt by organizing workshops, sessions, trainings, activities, or by top-notch legal personalities in India. Today, on behalf of Cyber Jagrithi Foundation, I invite Ms. Karnika ma'am, who is the India's topmost cyber lawyer. Dr. Karnika ma'am is an internationally acclaimed cyber lawyer and an expert of information technology laws practicing in the Supreme Court of India, whose contributions to the field of cyber laws are widely recognized. Dr. Seth is also a distinguished author and a speaker on pertinent legal issues both in electronic and print media. Dr. Seth is a founding partner of Seth Associates, a globally networked Indian law firm. She is also chairperson and founder of Lex Cyberia, world's first integrated research center dedicated to promoting knowledge and rendering legal consulting and cyber forensic services in India and across the globe. Madam, in recognition with in recognition of the substantial contribution in the field of commercial law practice, Karnika Seth ma'am was awarded the Corporate Excellence Award by Amity Global Business Schools in the year 2019. She authored a comprehensive book, Computers, Internet, and New Technology Laws, published by Butterworth LexisNexis, and received Law Day Award in the year 2012 from the Honorable Chief Justice of India and Honorable Law Minister. She received the Speaker of Eminence Award from Indus Business Academy in 2013. She was conferred the Law Day Award in 2015 for authoring a book titled Protection of Children on Internet from the Chief Justice of India. In 2015, she was conferred the Digital Empowerment Award from the Government of India. In 2017, Dr. Seth was conferred by the National Gaurav Award for exemplary contribution in the field of cyber law. And the list goes on. So without wasting any time, I would request Madam to please take over the session.
Thank you so much. I think it's a very important subject we will be talking today about careers in cyber law specifically. Law as a profession has grown many folds since the time we joined the bar, and a lot of new, I would say, issues have percolated the internet, the way people live. What are the key issues which surround businesses or even individuals, for that matter of fact, have changed over the past 2 decades or more. So I think Cyber Jagrithi it has created this platform for discussion today, and I'm sure I would try to give you some insights on how we feel as practitioners of cyber law, how this line or this particular field of law has grown. Now, about say 2 decades ago, when I enrolled in the bar, the situation was very different. It was just a nascent stage, cyber law as a practice and cyber law as a course, as a subject was very, very new. And I, in fact, was the first batch when I joined Amity at that point. This course of diploma in cyber law. Found it very fascinating because a lot of new issues like jurisdiction. This is a borderless space, so anonymity in cyberspace was one of the key areas. Then how intellectual property is protected online, copyright, trademarks, and cyber crimes, growing cyber crimes, and those days hacking, or issues like ATM frauds, issues like identity theft. Those were key issues, and also data protection to some extent. But over the years, the what was earlier known as diploma only in cyber law has grown. In fact, in the law practice, in the law, I would say the courses in LLB itself started having this as a module, of late. And earlier it was only maybe one or two modules in integrated courses, but I see there are a lot of postgraduate courses, undergraduate, postgraduate courses specializing in cyber law, which have started. While National Law School, is one of the key institutions offering the same, there are other, institutions like ILI, Amity, or in fact IGNU, which have many courses in this cybersecurity or in the cyber law domain specifically. So it's not just only postgraduate diplomas today. You can also see undergraduate, course level courses modules there, and then LLM specializing in cyber law related subjects. I in fact did my PhD also in cyber law, so that was interesting because. Very few people have probably chosen a PhD in cyber law, but that's something I did, and I truly enjoyed that experience as well. And then you can also pursue LLM degrees in cyber law, and there are specialized certificate courses online these days, especially in the lockdown period. A lot of people have chosen, to do a lot of, I would say, upgrading of their skills, whether it is cybersecurity domain or whether it is cyber law domain. So a lot is available in terms of small, short certificate courses from very good universities, open universities, including IGNO. So you can always go through those courses, and depending on the time and flexibility and the interest, you can actually choose which area of cyber law you'd like to know. So this is just a brief, introduction of what I feel you should know as any student who is interested in pursuing this field. Now, as a profession, it has grown many folds, as I said. Uh, the opportunities in terms of career are plethora of them. So, right from people who are into engineering or technical aspects of this field could pursue maybe forensics as a domain, cybersecurity, because a lot of need for CTOs, chief technology officers, or CIOs, or chief information officers in any kind of organization. And security is becoming very, very important for every business today. So there's a lot of demand for security specialists who help prevent any kind of frauds in the institution or an organization, and are generally an asset to that. So that's important. That's one also, another area which you can pursue. Then, in terms of legal officers, I mean, some people who like to obtain, say, take up a legal officer job in an institution, that also this knowledge really helps, because everything, right from your business, from your brick and mortar to it's shifting to the digital media, especially after COVID, a lot of businesses are automated and cannot grow without the help of technology today. So it's important to understand this field of law, and that's also an asset to your functioning of the business and any job profile that you may hold. Then apart from that, a lot of MNCs need it, a lot of international organizations need this area of law, because they are also, whether you're an NGO or otherwise, need this technology law, knowledge of security and technology. It's a very beautiful blend if you can really mix the two, and that knowledge really is a specialization which will go a long way. So I think, out of not just out of interest, but I think it has a very important functional role in today's world if you're doing anything which is related to law or even to technology or any business for that matter of fact. So that's the relevance. If you ask me issues, we handle number of issues. At an individual level, I see a lot of growth in defamation law. So I myself have handled a lot of cases, for celebrities or otherwise, when any individual who's of a repute, whether he's a spiritual leader or he's a, somebody from Bollywood or somebody who's a big businessman or anybody, in fact, having a good reputation in society, his, reputation is damaged by somebody out of ulterior motives, defamation law has increased in terms of practice in cyber law. And at an entity level, data protection also is very important, because every business has valuable data today. And so there's a lot of stealth, there's a lot of theft of data, corporate espionage, and there are a lot of different cases which we have handled, like middleman in the middle attacks, ATM frauds, also hacking frauds or data theft cases before the IT secretary. There's a adjudicating officer before, in any state, in fact, under the IT Act. So that is an officer who looks into data theft cases and grants compensation for that, any kind of data theft. Then you can also see, I would say that, in terms of criminal practice, uh, various complaints could be lodged, the place where the theft is committed from, or sometimes in defamation cases where the effect of it is felt. So that's, we see which is the jurisdiction, right jurisdiction to file a case or a legal action. In criminal matters, the punishment is the ultimate aim, and in civil matters, it's important to basically get compensation for the client, or an injunction for it, for that matter of fact. Sometimes we have moved the high court, basically seeking permanent injunction against a particular individual or an entity which has indulged in, for example, data theft, and tried to get injunction orders from the court. And many occasions we have also have sought the LC appointment, that is a local commissioner to be appointed by the court, who will go and investigate a matter. He will probably confiscate the hard disks involved in stealing any information if we have a reasonable suspicion and some evidence to prove the same. A local commissioner is appointed by the court, and then there have been raids, there have been confiscations of such kind, and local commissioner goes and confiscates the data. So the cases are handled at various levels: criminal, then you have civil for damages and injunction at the high court level. We go for cases like suits. It depends on the jurisdiction also. How much is the damage? Like, for example, if it's below 2 crores, it will go to district court today. And if the damage is more than 2 crores, it will go to high court. So that's what we look at. Subject matter jurisdiction has to be looked into. The pecuniary, that is the amount that a particular claim has to be lodged, that is also there. And we also look at the relief. End relief, is it defamation case, or whether you want damages, or you want in any case any injunction order from the court, or ultimate aim is the punishment. So depending on the relief sought, you can actually claim that particular, lodge a case or a complaint. And sometimes even criminal and civil both can be lodged. So it depends on the facts of every case. So this is how the law practice is at the moment. Apart from the litigation practice, we also do a lot of corporate practice. For example, most cyber laws would look into drafting of agreements, or whether it is a copyright transfer or an assignment, or if it is a technology transfer agreement. We also do all that. I would say consulting work. So a lot of times terms and conditions have to be drafted. A lot of times. Privacy policies have to be changed depending on the changes in law, and a lot is happening at this point. What is the liability of social media platforms today, and how do their policies change or need to change? So I'm also fortunately involved in making of the law, so I help out in say majorly any new recommendations to be given, or any new laws to be framed at various levels, including we are trying to make some new changes in the Supreme Court, and say High Court, or even district courts. And I'm very happy to share with you that I made that e-filing procedure rules, which are actually available for use across 21 high courts in 18,000 district courts in India. So those e-filing rules were, basically being drafted. And I did the manual, I wrote the manual, and the e-filing was launched under the e-courts module by the Supreme Court. This committee had been formed, which was looking into it. So accordingly, every institution, whether it is courts or it is, I would say, parliament, or if it is government, they are all making new changes in the law, and they need to, because the whole landscape of cyber law is changing, and everything associated laws, like whether it's trademark or it is other aspects, of the law, they are all changing. Evidence law is changing. And lately we've had pronouncements, where section 65B certificate has been held to be mandatory again, for such cases where secondary evidence is led. So, in these are the kind of issues which these us as lawyers, we deal with in cyber practice as such. So, and I find a lot of startups are coming, and a lot of them need a hand holding in terms of support, right from incorporation of their businesses to setting up their policies, and then checking their IT due diligence or IT audits. Then go on to, if there are litigation cases, you handle those cases. So it's a cycle. It's an entire cycle. So there's lots to be done in terms of litigation, in terms of consulting, in terms of forensics. When we get these hard disks, for example, or a mobile phone, and we need evidence from there. So there's a way of extracting the evidence. There's a way of preserving it, so that we can produce it in a court of law, and that is admissible. We look at all that procedure. Unfortunately, I've been also into trainings. So I have been training the Delhi police, or police in various states in India, and been also faculty to the National Judicial Academy. So we've trained judges right from district level to high court and otherwise on the judicial procedure, how IT Act cases need to be handled, or specific issues of electronic evidence. So there's a whole lot of gamut of activities. And besides that, writing has been also my passion. So I have been authoring books and various articles from time to time on topical issues in this space. And I must admit that there is no end to the knowledge. So even with PhD, or later on doing whatever we are doing, I still feel we are all students of law, and this field is growing every single day, and one has to be abreast of what is happening, what is the modus operandi of how criminals are, say, siphoning off monies from people. Especially these days, you see a lot of during COVID, 86% rise in cybercrime. And I've read the latest NCRB statistics. A lot of crime has arisen against women, children, whether it's bullying or sexual harassment, or if it is even OTP frauds, social engineering or social media frauds, fake news. All these are grappling, issues that we are challenged with as lawyers. We really have to look at, what policies we need to bring in, what changes we need to bring in the law. So this is affecting everyday, a person, a common man as well, because everybody's using, say, OTP, and or everybody's using two-step verifications or payment gateways or payment apps. And how do we spread awareness? That is the need of the hour. And this is one of the platforms. Cyber Jagrithi has just launched this awareness drive. I'm happy to be a part of this, because I feel the awareness is something that we really need to spread across people. And unless we are ourselves equipped, we will not be able to prevent cybercrime, because after all, your safety lies in your own hands more than anyone else. So that's something important. So every student, whether you're engineering background, or in fact, I have to say that even youngsters are interning for cyber law courses. Even school students are interning for cyber law courses. And I think it's an armor. It's something that, it's like self-defense. You need to have that. So it's something that we are always transacting, whether it's entertainment or it's business or communication, socializing. It's like a child learns to walk. You, when you start using internet, need to understand the best practices of cyber safety. And I think cyber law as a field contributes to the same goals. So I think everybody must have some basic knowledge of cyber law. That's something which I truly believe in. And what else should I share with you? I'm just thinking that there may be a lot of questions while I'll be answering them. But if you ask me key cases, well, I have had a satisfying journey so far, because I've had a mix of everything that I shared with you, of what all I do, and that's been my passion. And in terms of law practice, I find a lot of new things happening, like we have dynamic injunctions coming up. uh, for example, on the web, if there is a pirated movie found, how do you curtail? For example, if you block that particular link, should there be another link? How would you again go and file a case? That'll become very, very tiresome, and it will become very, very cumbersome for any litigant. So, whether you're a movie company or a producer or a director or a composer, it's next to impossible to really block every single duplicate mirror image or duplicate content which will float on the internet, whether it is if it is, say, any kind of a movie clip or a music song or anything. So there we have a new concept called dynamic injunctions, and that's how, with the changing technology, the law changes, and we have to go with the bent of the road. That's the skill that we need as a cyber lawyer. It's a very challenging role, because it's not something that you've done and you read and then those same statutory principles will be always applicable. They think, I mean, you may think so, but it's a field which will grow and grow very fast. So that's the challenge. And the important thing is the knowledge of law needs to combine with the technical knowledge and the evidence, and maybe other skill sets as well, because that's something needs to be combined together to actually fulfill this role. So if you find these things challenging, and if you have that skill set and you uh, where you have the urge to understand technology and law together, and every day has a new case and a new question to be answered and researched on, I think you're in the right place then. So you can look at that. And as I was explaining, so this concept of dynamic injunctions came, and that's a new concept where the court would order that any movie clip found on a particular say a site will be blocked if the same content is there on another site. That becomes a John Doe, where when we say John Doe, it means basically that the anonymous person or the unknown parties who make this content again available illegally will be considered as part of the main action, and blocking can be done based on that one single order for all the other duplicate entries which may come on the or links which may come on the internet. So it saves time, energy, effort, money, and it's a quick process to block such content. So when the social media platform is informed the same content is there at this place, if it's a John Doe order, dynamic injunction, you can actually just use the same and block that content out. So it's very interesting, and the role of social media companies also is very challenging today, because ultimately, how many, I would say, posts can they really do look into, and if there is a due diligence needed, then what are the parameters? We are still at this present moment looking into these issues of what should be done in terms of due diligence. Should the social media filter not just child pornography, which is banned across the world almost, but should also look at certain other hate speech words, for example, or anything which is hurting religious sentiments of people? How do you define that vocabulary? Should that be blocked or not? So those kind of issues are current challenges. How do we block fake news? Should we use DNA photo hash mechanism to block pictures alone? Now can we use facial technology today? Can we use artificial intelligence to surf the net and tell, say, pre-filter content? Should we make these social media giants or OTT platforms liable? Can the same censorship apply which applies to TV or television or channels also on the internet, whether Netflix or other entities can be also, brought under the censorship scanner? Those are the kind of questions. All the web series which are available on the internet, should they be censored? So the freedom of speech is always challenged today, considering all this and the recent TRI guidelines, and you shouldn't be, required to do the OTT platform should not be censored. At the moment, there is no need for the same. So those things are debated at this point. Is our personal data enough, enough protection again been given to that in India? Now that we know we have a fundamental right of privacy, is our privacy at stake? If yes, then I mean, you'll be surprised, but I think most of you will agree with me. It is number of times that you're talking about something, and your next moment you see an ad on your phone. If it's the same thing, maybe it's food, or if it's entertainment, if something else pops up, it's because of behavioral advertising. So everything that you're saying, doing, surfing is being observed. So where is the privacy today in terms of data or in terms of digital media? That is exactly we are trying to look into, on how much protection can we really offer to each, on the platform, and safeguard, rather than offering, safeguard ourselves online. So these are the issues which percolate in cyberspace, and you'll find plenty of them, right from freedom of speech to cyber crimes to anything that you want to share online. Should it be a particular a review? Can the review have abusive language? Obviously no. So the parameters of or the contours of law allow you to only write your opinion, but without using hate speech or without using abusive language. So do's and don'ts of internet. This is how fascinating the journey of cyber law is. And if you're really keen, you can read about it, learn about it, practice it, and actually use it for your own advantage. I think with this, we can start taking questions if there are any from the audience.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that amazing words by you. It was so much, actually. I have filled whole my paper with that. It is very much. So thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, we are getting few questions.
Yeah.
Like people wants to know about your more personal experience. So they want to know any one. Can you would you like to share any one case which you felt very much challenging in your career?
Yes, I have many stories, many cases to share, really. But lately, I've handled a few cases. For example, I obviously won't be able to name parties, but I'll just name the setting, what happened in a particular scenario. A client of ours was based out of US, and this client had hired services of another US entity to make a website for them. Now, this entity who they had hired had a back office in India. Now, this back office in India made that website for them, prepared that IP, that intellectual property that was to be prepared for them, transferred it by using a software, an online software. And after that, what happened was our client realized that after the sale of the product and once the website is handed over, there has been a hacking into their US server. Now, if that happened, what is to be done? So, when we looked at the evidence they had, we could clearly see that after this website was handed back to the US client, there was a hacking from India. So we traced the IP and we found that it was an office in Gurgaon. So there, it was a back office. It was the same back office which was used, to carry out this work of research and other development for this website. Now the point was criminal action. Yes, if one could have lodged it, so the complaint was also lodged. But we wanted a more quick action. So what we did was that we filed a case in the district court there in Gurgaon, and immediately applied for a LC appointment, the local commissioner to be appointed. Then we have to satisfy the court that there is a clear case of evidence that there is a clear evidence of hacking.
Yes.
And with that, we got the LC appointment. So when with the LC appointment, we went to this premises, confiscated the server of that office, confiscated the computers of the directors, and they were sealed and submitted in the court. So the issues like these happen, and then the evidence was led, and finally this whole case was further proceeded. So challenging issues are there because at times it requires you to have the understanding of a cop, the understanding of how the legal process will work to your in your case, and how you need to satisfy the court that this is the case where actually hacking has occurred. That's also a challenge for lawyers to make the judges understand this at times. So there are technicalities involved, and there was a risk because the person was, it's understood in such a scenario there is a risk also involved. So I think those kind of issues and challenges are there where, because in IT law, data is important for evidence. So if this data was destroyed, for example, or if the computer was taken away, it would be very difficult for us to prove the case sometimes. Especially if the service provider who we need to get evidence from is based outside India. So direct evidence was possible from the machines which were used, right? So that becomes a challenge, and getting the forensics done and getting the actual evidence out. So it's a fine balancing act, and it's a lot of strategy which is involved in making any recourse, legal recourse in any case. So that's what I found very challenging. Another interesting case was of data theft, which I've handled, where it was a medical diagnostic company, and ex-employee stolen some data, and then we had to produce evidence to show there was a parallel company the person had been running along with other employees. And the emails, generally the personal emails of such employees also would contain some content like this. So again, either an LC appointment would be required, or if the officer had some evidence to prove that there was a mailing of this data, confidential data, from official email accounts to his personal email accounts, which was unauthorized. So then that could be produced in the court. And normally we take steps like these to actually explain the case to the judge, and there has been a hacking. And then once we've been able to do that, we actually produce that in the court, and we get an award. So for the timing in this case, we won this case, and there were damages granted. And this was before the CSTAT, sorry, the this TDSAT, TDSAT court, and after that there was this appeal. So then these things, as a procedure, it's a long drawn process. There's an appeal, and then you can still appeal against it. So it's a whole long drawn battle. It's not something which will probably stop at one point, because one has a legal right to you know fight your case, and if you're aggrieved by any order, you can still challenge it. So many cases like these we have handled, and whether it is data thefts or it is defamation. Again, it was an interesting case where I argued before High Court Delhi, where we got a good order of injunction against a US based website which was showing defamatory material against a particular spiritual guru in India. So many cases like these, and they have all been challenging because they have sometimes never been a precedent that I can rely on. So it's always been like, you're the crusader, you're the crusader, you're the crusader. So that's how
Sure.
challenging it is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. Ma'am, as it's a career session, so few people were asking what kind of job roles are available if they take cyber laws as career.
What job roles? Many. In fact, I said that you could be into consulting, you could be into as a legal officer, you could be also a CTO or a chief information officer of a company. So it depends on the bent of mind. If it's more technical, it will be more into forensics or safety or security of a company, drawing up the policies, and or even HR for that matter of fact. It's very important to have that understanding of this law,
Okay.
because you handle your team accordingly. So, and MNCs are there, you have international bodies where you can use this expertise. I think every organization needs this know-how now.
Yeah, we are getting many questions, ma'am. I know we have very less time, so I'll take only few questions. Sorry, participants, because madam has a very busy schedule. So, madam, any path, as said, for the job roles which you mentioned just. So, what path can one follow? Because as said, technical knowledge is required. So, mostly technical knowledge refers to engineering students, I feel. So any path do you want to suggest, this path, if is suggestible way to go? Because if nowadays many colleges are starting to have cyber laws as an elective course, or many various other, IGNO has, as you mentioned, IGNO has started few courses. So what path, any recommended path you want to suggest?
I think BTech, a lot of BTech courses also have this field of law. Then you have LLB, LLM. These are offering them as modules or even as specialized courses. So it depends if you'd like to enroll for a whole course only on cyber, or is it going to be a mix of everything, or only cyber is something that fascinates you. So it depends on facts of your case to case basis, I would say. And as far as technical is concerned, yes, security, cyber security, cyber safety, these are the main areas which interest the technical, engineers or people who maybe want to take up computer programming and software and designing. Because a lot of scope in the app sector. You can create your own apps, you can create your own B2C platforms, and with seed capital, a lot of new startups are being formed. So it depends on your area of inclination, what really fascinates you as a person. I think one should just follow your passion. That's what my advice would be.
Uh, Ma'am, one more relevant question, only similar to this, ma'am. So, people, we are having people from law background also. So, they were asking, as you mentioned, technical knowledge. So, what kind of technical knowledge one should have for being a cyber lawyer?
When it comes to technical knowledge, I think computers, knowledge of how internet works, knowledge of maybe programming, coding is something that you can look into. A lot of times, people preferring to do data science because new and new technologies are emerging, whether it's robotics or if it's AI or facial recognition. Anything which is creating a new invention in terms of technology, that is a wide area to explore. If you're into inventions and if you're into just understanding the hardware, and then you can probably look at security. And if you're looking at IT, as a forensics, so if some incident has occurred or the machine is there, how do you extract evidence out of it? There's a way, forensic, they're trained investigators who are into forensics, who are analysts. They use softwares like Access Data or others, to extract the relevant data for producing it in the court of law or any investigation for that matter. So technical people are generally into that, or maybe even I have been a mentor to Heartron, which is a very interesting hub, IT hub for startups. And I went and I saw robots being made. I went and I saw small toys for children, which are robotic based, and drone technology, to do mapping of cities. Uh, all startups trying to do something new in the incubation, right? So, if you're interested in making your own startup, maybe that's a good way. Technically, if you're sound, then you can maybe explore that as well. So, there's lots of scope. Again, it really depends on what you feel drives you, to do something new.
Sure, sure, ma'am. So, ma'am, one question is coming. I'm not sure if we can take this. So, there was one series, Social Dilemma, recently launched in Netflix. So, it was about various Facebook and other organizations, how they were manipulating data. So, they are asking questions like, how can one protect from this kind of attacks? Anything you want to
Yeah.
comment on this, ma'am?
See, I think a lot of apps which we kind of download and don't use, we should just delete them from our phones. Use a good antivirus, use a good anti-spyware, and only allow apps such access which is required for its functionality. A food app doesn't need to have your photographs access. It doesn't need to have your video access. Uh, we also need to have a password manager to safeguard all the different passwords you may have on the machine. And if you're using Mac, it's quite safe. But even if you don't use iPhones or Mac, there are good softwares which are send you alerts if there is anything trying to hack into your systems or otherwise. So do that and try and use VPNs. That's what is helpful as well, to help you protect your information or data. But many times we give our data ourselves because of the haste that we just want to download and use. Don't read the terms and conditions, and often give away a lot of data which is not necessary. So even for a video conference app, during COVID, I was trying to work from home, and then there also when we tried to download a lot of video conference apps, and I saw a lot of them ask for unnecessary data and unnecessary access, which was not needed. So I completely denied that. So that's what is essential. We have to just see before we click on I agree, because you're signing a legal contract and just click on I agree. It's actually a click wrap agreement. So it's important to check what you're agreeing to after all. It's not necessary to just click on I agree without realizing what we are giving away. That's important. And we only click pictures what we want to be clicked. And supposingly, if it's a confidential document, without encryption, you don't leave it on your machine. You need to have encryption also. These are some of the best safety practices we can actually adopt. That's important.
Yeah, madam, any colleges or institutes would you like to recommend for cyber law course in India?
Well, I think for those who want to do law, 5 year integrated law is good with an LLM. That's an option where you will have modules of cyber as well. Uh, if you're doing Open University, IGNOU is one of the good ones. Then you have other, I would say institutes like PG diploma courses with ILI or Amity or NLS. National Law School has even courses, full-fledged courses. I've been told that there have been some diploma courses available at NLUS Bhopal. Then in this JLU Bhopal, and then Upijindal I think is offering, PHU University is offering. So there are a lot of new universities. You can look for diploma courses also, and specialized 1 or 2 year courses also in cyber from various universities. So just surf the net and see those colleges and compare the what courses they're offering, and depends who's the faculty also there. That's all important, because I think academicians have a particular knowledge. Then that's why they mix it with guest lectures from experts, or practitioners, because that way they give a holistic idea of the subject, and they often encourage internships, because with internships they get to know what is the practical use of the subject. So that's important. I think you can go through all these, and in ICNU I had also authored a few courses in cyber law there. And as a I would say not for profit, we also inspire to do a lot of special workshops, 2 day, 3 day workshops. We did that during June, July also. If you're interested, then I think you can let us know. All our details are online. So that's mail at firengo.com. And or you can write to us and we can inform you whenever there's 2 or 3 day specialized courses. But for the full-fledged courses, you must go to see the universities and compare the different courses they're given, and choose your duration and your interest level, and then I think decide. That's important.
Ma'am, one last question, ma'am. There's
Yeah.
a student who has completed post-graduation diploma in cyber laws from National Law University. So,
Mhm.
in what career options should he choose for?
If he has done which course you said?
PGD, PGD in cyber laws from
Okay.
NLU.
And what is the main graduation or main degree in before?
He's a BTech student.
Yeah, so I think then I wouldn't say that you could enroll in law, because that needs a complete degree course. But yes, if that is there, then you can choose any IT software company, maybe, that's a good option. And become, say, chief technology officer there. If you have BTech, you have more technical knowledge. That's one of the areas one can explore. Or if you want to choose forensics, you can probably mix it with forensic, some courses on forensics, and go into a qualified forensic course. That's also an option. I think, or if you're interested in doing coding and app development, then that is as well a possible option, because BTech students like to do coding, like to do, those kind of areas can be explored as well. So that's the thought of options, a lot of options today.
Sure, sure, ma'am. I think there are many more questions, but with time limitations, we
I
would like
think
to wind.
that's what
Yes,
I'm thinking. That, if there are any more questions, feel free to write to me. While I
yes,
will try to answer the most important
sure.
questions from our list of questions. But it's been a complete delight to be here and
Yes.
discussing this important topic of, how career options are available in cyber law and how challenging and how dynamic this field is. I thoroughly enjoy what I do, and I hope all the best to you all. I just want to
Thank
wish you all the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of Cyber Jagrithi Foundation Board and the Cyber Vakeel team, I thank you a lot for taking out this amazing time with us out of your busy schedule and sharing your thoughts on various aspects like copyrights, DNA photo hashing, John Doe, censorship, data privacy, path to follow, technical knowledge, what all cyber risks are involved, and other various topics. So uh, it's an honor to us, ma'am. So for having you and others who are listening to us, ma'am has written very amazing books. So I'll add them in the description. So please do use those links, and if you can purchase those books and read those books, I can definitely say you that you are gonna get a lot of knowledge from them. And once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. With that, thank you so much, everyone. If you are having more questions, do write to us. We will communicate that with madam and let you know the answers. Thank you so much. Have a great day.